I've heard that life is what you make it. I say, make room to grow. I'm your host, LaWanda Dockery, and this is the Make Room to Grow podcast. It all started with a dream about growing food, and who would ever imagine that growing food would lead to me learning about personal growth and development? Well, it did, and I want to bring you along for this beautiful ride. Thank you so much for joining me. Hello, Grow Nation. We are at the start of another weekend, and I hope you guys are rolling up your sleeves and getting ready to go out into your gardens. So over these episodes, we have explored containers versus raised beds. Today, I'd like to get into a little bit more of the differences between the two. So as you know, we were super ambitious this year, and we started our raised bed on March 21st, the day after spring. And what we're noticing is that we were just way too early. We jumped the gun on this because we got the seeds in the ground, yes, but they were very slow to germinate and they've been slow to take off. Now, partially that's due to the rain. It's spring, it's the season. But if we had our way, we would like to see more growth on the veggies. And I'm sure it will happen once the sun comes out and the climate really heats up. I say all that to say my first thing that we've noticed is that it's been a slow process in the raised bed and seeing results. Another thing, and I mentioned this in our last episode, is that I see that you have to make sure that you have proper drainage in whichever soil mix or pot or raised bed mix that you choose. You have to make sure that it has proper drainage. This one that we chose, I noticed has lots of huge particles in it, which from the very beginning made me a little nervous because I wanted the crops to have enough room to be able to establish their root system, or if it was a root crop, I wanted it to have enough room and be free from debris enough to really fill out, like for our radishes and our carrots and that sort of thing. So really make sure that whatever you're putting on top of your raised bed has a good drainage to it. You want a good fine mix, nothing with all the particles, if you can help it. One more thing that I just noticed is just the keeping the balance of what's in the raised bed. I started to notice that some mushrooms popped through, which I researched and saw that is normal because the wood chips are trying to break down, and the fungi content in the bed may cause there to be mushrooms in the bed, but I don't want mushrooms with my cabbage or with my Asian red mustard. So just keep an eye on just the mix of what's going on in your bed as well. So I say all these things, and the solution for me is to keep on trying. What we're going to do is give these a few more weeks, see what happens when the weather really gets warm, because it's really been cold and soggy, and we're thinking that once the weather really makes a hard turn towards summer, then we'll see some things take off. And so if this doesn't work, I'm already thinking of a strategy. I'm already thinking of a plan B, if you will. And I want you to keep that in mind. I want you to have a level of resiliency when you're out there in the garden, because maybe what you're doing might not work. There's no hard and fast rule. It's your garden. You're just trying some things out, especially if you're a first timer like me, well, a second seasoner like me and my husband. See what happens, see what works. And if it doesn't work, be ready with another strategy. So I'm noticing that with my grow bags, I only have lettuce in it so far. And I bought a 5-pack from Amazon, like $20. I'm noticing that those lettuces that I put in there are really taking off, which lettuce is pretty easy on a whole anyway. But it is inspiring me to try more of the grow bags. So I'll keep at the raised bed, but I'll try to put together a platform of sorts to house my grow bags. So if you are not having success in one area, you can just diversify. Try some containers. Maybe that would be an easy thing for you. I'm reading more and more about these grow bags that it's easy to get enough airflow. It's easy to get enough drainage. You don't have to worry about the roots not taking hold. It's enough room in there. I have the 5-gallon grow bags. And right now I did almost a whole pack of little gem lettuce. I actually did a video on it if you want to look at the MRTG podcast. And that's the MRTG podcast on Instagram. You can find the video there. Another good thing about containers is that you can put them anywhere you need them. You can sort of chase the sunlight by moving around the containers to make sure that your plants are getting exactly what they need. And lastly, you can get pretty nice looking containers, especially if you go with the grow bags. So they're pleasing on the eye as well. And the cool thing about gardening is that at any point in time, you might look at what you're doing or what's working, what's not working, and you just have an assessment from a point in time. So today, my raised bed may look like it's struggling. 2 weeks from now, it may be thriving. It's all like day by day. It's all a process. That's the beauty of it. And that's why you never become bored with this. It's a life skill. It's a bringing you back closer to what God intended skill. It's a let me get up and close and marvel at the wonder of who God is and his handiwork and his craftsmanship and his just being masterful. So as always, I invite you for this journey. It is beautiful. It is amazing. It is it unfolds in such a rich, beautiful, amazing way. Well, guys, you already know. Until next time, I want you to look around your life. I want you to be intentional about those places in your life where you are going to make room to grow.